I hit live. Oh, there we go. We're live. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and watching another Monday Night Draw with Meredith and Dave.
Hey, everybody.
And yeah, Meredith's just getting set up last minute today.
I had 2 big glasses of eggnog, so let the coughing commence.
Eggnog does it?
Anything with a little bit of dairy. I mean, okay. I really don't need an excuse to cough.
Right, but that'll do it. So today we're going to be doing Joker. We actually kind of had an argument.
Fight about it.
Fight.
We fought.
Yeah, I just really wanted to draw Joker, and Meredith had a couple other ones, which we will get to.
And commissions, which people are waiting for.
Yeah.
Not, indulging ourselves.
So Alpin asked how many coffee cups there were here. I saw in the chat just before we started. There's only one.
Only one.
And also, before we move on, we got a super chat a little while ago from Crayfish Forever. It says, hey, Dave and Meredith from the Cray family. We couldn't make it tonight, but we wanted to contribute. Thanks for bettering our community. Well, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. I saw that when we were, getting everything set up, and I didn't want to let it go. Geez, and yeah. All right. So I'm going to get started here.
And as you get started, I just want to give a little shout out today because the comic community lost a big personality today to COVID. We found out this morning that Charles Kibbe, somebody who has been, a fixture really at conventions ever since I've known you, lost his fight with COVID. And he's the second, somebody who I would call a giant personality.
Yeah.
He's the second person to pass this year. We lost Chandler Rice earlier this year. So
people would count on seeing, a few times a year and spending a little time with and talking to, and
their personalities are larger than life. And Charles just had a huge heart, and he just made you feel warm knowing him. Do you know what I mean? And so, we just want to express our condolences, I guess. Give a shout out to Charles and express our condolences to his family. I can't imagine what they're going through.
Oh, yeah.
And especially to lose him, this close to Christmas.
And he was fairly young. I think he was our age, yeah.
So, conventions won't be the same without you, Charles.
Well said. So this is going to be a big head, which I get to spend 2.5 hours on. I'm very excited about it because I'm always rushing through these. I'm going to detail this like mad. And I'm doing this. This is part of the reason we had a bit of an argument. She's like, but when I'm doing head sketches, I generally give myself a half an hour. They always seem to take just a little bit longer. But yeah, this will be something, much, much tighter than I can normally do on these streams, which I'm excited about. Get all his hair in. Here's his chin. And I keep getting criticism that I don't draw feet, which is totally untrue. I've drawn feet at least once in my career, so I'll give him feet. There you go. What do you think?
Did you give him a head with feet?
Yeah.
I think you can't. Don't erase those.
I'm not leaving.
You better leave those on. You're going to draw...
here we go.
Joker.
And so before we move on too much, we have a guest tonight, a very special guest. You guys have met him before. He was a very popular guest on the show. We were very lucky to have him. We're lucky to have him again. It's Nick Brucci. Nicky. I said it, Nicky. I feel so awkward. I can't do it. Anyway,
so awkward. We never call him Nicky.
So Nick is here. He's gonna talk about the Red Sonja cover. We've got 9 days left on the. You know what? I'm gonna bring Nick on so we can talk about it. He's sitting right here, ready to go. Hi, Nick.
Hey,
Nick.
How are you?
Everything worked out perfectly.
It did. I'm actually really excited to be back. I had a lot of fun the first time, and you guys were the people that got me started.
Well, I'm so glad, and I'm so glad you agreed to come back. It's a big deal. I mean, I hope everybody watching appreciates just how, well, you don't do this kind of thing. And for somebody at your level to be, on a show and answering questions, that kind of thing, it's a huge treat for all of us. So thank you very much, Nick.
No, it's a lot of fun, and it's just so cool. you know that when I'm at a convention, I'm pretty accessible to the fans, and I like to be in touch. I like to talk to them, and this is the new way to do it. And I've since we've done this, I've appeared on 2 other live streams, and I've done 2 interview recordings myself. So this is definitely a great way for me to touch base with fans, existing fans, and find new fans. I mean, your fan base is incredible. You have such a great dedicated fan base that
Yeah, really great.
it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had
We
no
got
idea.
the bug. We gave you the bug.
You did. It's infectious, but in a good way.
See, you're so positive. I was going to call him a traitor for doing another show.
No, of course I'm positive.
Uh,
Oh, hold on, my tea's coming.
Tea witch.
Hey, oh, that's
Our son.
I get so much respect in this house.
All right, off.
Thank you for my tea, Isaac.
I should have known having him down here. He's going to put on a show.
Oh dear.
Kids.
He's awesome.
I think we've offered him for sale on the show before.
You know what
we
we
didn't have
have,
any
but-
takers.
He's so sweet.
He's
Although,
great.
Nick, do you have kids?
no, unfortunately,
You were smart. You were too smart to have kids?
It's I wouldn't say too smart. I would say more along the lines of being a workaholic. You don't think about it. And Pam and I, we talked about having kids at different times, and it just never came together. So we rescue animals now.
Oh, that's great.
See,
Yeah.
that's better. Animals are more grateful.
I don't know about that. No, they are. Animals are great. And they're innocent, and they need help. They need attention. So it's really cool doing it. It's very rewarding. It's very difficult for Pam because she runs the actual rescue herself. So she goes and wakes up at 4:30 every morning to feed feral colonies, and also to trap, neuter, and release them so that they don't explode and create more litters that have a chance of being killed.
No, absolutely. And there's a little, I think that's everybody get your pets spayed and neutered message.
Yeah.
PSA for the day.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, David. The public service announcement, because it's so important.
It is. And what people don't realize, I mean, you still have a lot of people that end up adopting kittens thinking, oh, the kittens are so cute, and then not realizing they are a lot of work. And the funny thing is that Pam has saved a lot more than just cats. She has saved dogs. She even saved rabbits, and once saved a horse, believe it or not.
I believe all of that. I would say rabbits are most common, like a month after Easter, when they start getting big and not as cute.
I think that is a safe bet too. When we rescued one rabbit, we adopted another rabbit from a friend of hers who also had rabbits, so that they wouldn't be alone. And we had a rabbit pen at the office, and Pam nicknamed them Ben and Jerry. So,
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It is. So
That's
it's yeah, like I said, I mean the hard part is when she rescues dogs. Rescuing cats, it's easy to put them all together because we do have the garage which holds the rescue cats. The feral cats, the cats that are too feral, when she traps, neuters, and releases them, she brings them back to where they were because they need familiar ground, or they start to wander away and get a better chance of being killed and dying. But the ones that aren't too feral, she fosters and then adopts out.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah, that's great. I had no idea.
I know. I'm going to heaven because she's good.
I'm going to heaven because my children are good.
That's a good,
Well, everybody
that's a
just
good
heard one of
thing.
them.
Especially the one that just called me witch. So he has a heart of gold.
He really does. Believe it or not.
Too funny.
So Nick, we've got 9 days left.
9 days left, and it's doing pretty well, and I'm really excited. We got to put in the stretch goal. The fans are supporting it, and considering this is kind of historic, that this is the first Red Sonja cover that David's ever drawn, and I cannot believe this is the first one ever. All the years we've been working together, and Red Sonja is the one character you haven't drawn. You've drawn Vampirella, you've drawn the Shadow, you've drawn Charlie's Angels, and now Red Sonja finally.
And if I had to pick from that list, I think I would say Red Sonja. I know I would say Red Sonja first. I don't know how that happened. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Probably when we've had some events, it was when you were tied up with exclusives either at Marvel or DC, so the timing wasn't there. And what I want to tell your audience, check out the cover, go to the Indiegogo page, check out the cover. Even if you don't pledge for it, even if you're not going to buy it, money's tight for a lot of people with everything going on. What I will say is just look at how beautiful it is. We touched on this last time when we showed it. It's an incredible cover. When I called David and said, let's do one of these variants that we're doing with other creators, I asked him which character he wanted to do. And he said, and politely, he said, I love Vampirella, but I've done Vampirella a few times. I already have it in my head what I want to draw with Red Sonja. So he just, and I just said, wow, that's great. And it wasn't until after he handed it in that he pointed out this was the first time he drew Red Sonja. And that literally threw me for a loop. I could not believe it. So he asked for Frank D'Armata to color it. Frank is one of the best colorists in the industry. Not enough people, not enough people realize it because Frank's one of these guys that just loves the craft, does the work, moves everything forward, never gets the accolades he deserves. So his being able to get it here is awesome. And it's funny when you look at all the detail that's in there, you could tell all the love that David put into it. But then look at the colors. It is incredible. Both David and Frank looked at it. David made a few suggestions. The editor made a few suggestions. Frank made those changes. And then after he handed that in, 2 days later, Frank goes, I saw where I can put a little bit more shadowing here. I saw where I can just tweak this a little. And if he didn't point out what he did the first time was so beautiful.
Yeah.
We never would have really realized what he did because to the naked eye, it looks pretty much the same. But because Frank's a perfectionist, the changes that he made him happy because he wanted this to be the best cover he could make it because he knew it was going to get a lot of attention. I mean, it's David drawing the cover. It's Red Sonja. It's on an Indiegogo campaign, which we've been getting good attention for. And the fans are really supportive. And the other day we decided, look, we know we're going to hit $20,000. It's just on par to get there. So at $20,000, we're giving everybody a limited edition promo card as part of the campaign.
Which is amazing. Yeah. Cards are amazing.
Yep. It's good for the fans, and it's going to be, it'll be part of the whole package, and the fans get to have it as a bonus.
Yeah, which is great. And I wanted to mention too with Frank, he really, some people will do their work, turn it in, and then forget about it. They're on to the next job, and that really is not Frank. He is not a self-promoter at all, but he really, really puts everything he has into what he does, and that's why it's such a pleasure to work with him. I mean, he's a great guy too. I love him personally, but
He's a great guy. When I see him at a show, he's a great guy to hang around with. He's a great guy to grab a drink with. He's just a sweetheart of a guy. And I would say you need to put him on the show one day, unless he's shy. Huh?
He's been on. Actually,
He
was
our first guest.
Yeah, he was our first guest. He was on. No, he was our second guest. We had Robert Marzullo, who was great, and then we had Frank, and you were our guest directly after Frank, actually. So, yeah, we had him on. I guess it'd be just over a month ago now, and he was great.
That's pretty. I didn't know that. Okay, that's pretty cool. So the fans got to experience the Dynamite live.
Yes. The Dynamite effect.
The Dynamite effect live.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the fans are doing great. I can see that they love everything David's drawing, which is always, that's got to be a great feeling, David, that the guys keep coming back and the ladies and just really appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still amazed. I had no idea how this would do when I did the first stream, and I was hoping that it would do all right, but you can't predict. And I really thought, okay, well, I'll draw, because the first one did well, and I was thrilled. And I thought, okay, well, they're gonna taper off because, really, ultimately, I'm drawing, superheroes every time, and that might just kind of lose its appeal. And it seems like,
oh yeah, because watching Dave do his drawing magic, it gets old. That's yeah.
This is always my thing though, Nick. I'm always looking, oh no, it's all gonna come down, it's all gonna go.
Stardust Memory
says, who I am.
Stardust Memory says, I wouldn't miss it for the world, and it's 2 a.m. in France.
Oh wow. Well,
Stardust stays up on Monday night, no less. Like
Monday
the beginning
night,
of the week.
Well, thank you very much, Stardust, for being here.
Crazy.
You know what it is? I can tell just from the few shows I've seen and from being on the show last month, David's artwork is great, and David is always pushing himself, which is why David can be a little bit of a pessimist sitting there. This is all going to come down crashing, but that's also the reason why you push yourself, because you never want that to happen. Yeah. But I think in addition to the artwork being beautiful, the chemistry you both have together is just out of this world. There are so many couples that can never do what you two do, which is just work together. This is a social setting. This is absolutely a social setting. And this is a place where you're telling the fans, come into my home, check out, hang out with us. And you guys have such a great relationship, not only with yourselves, but with your fans, that it's just a beautiful thing what you guys do.
Well, yeah,
right,
thank you, Nick.
Down to the snotty little kids bringing their mother tea and calling her a witch
because he knows he knows there's a microphone right there.
He's that kid is the most dramatic when he's got an audience. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to be shown up. He wants to show mom and dad that he has chops too. That he wants to be on the live stream one day.
You should see his early YouTube videos. He sounds like a streamer. Like he's been streaming for years. What up, my peeps?
Yeah, no idea what the content is. That's not the point.
No idea. Yeah, it's all about how you present it.
Yeah.
So funny.
Tagamo Model Works has a super chat for $5. Tagamo says, Dave, if you draw it, they will come.
Well, thank you very much, Jamona.
And I know there was a super chat too from SCS Powerlifting for $5. SCS said, what up, everybody? And then RIP and prayers to the family, to Charles Kibbe's family. Because I'm sure, Nick, you know who Charles Kibbe is. And
when
sad news we got today.
Yeah, when you brought that up, it's just so sombering when you think about it. We've lost a few people to COVID, and I've been doing this for 38 years and as Dynamic Forces for 28 years, and we lost someone a few weeks ago that used to be a Marvel executive. Losing Charles really hits home. Because like you said, he was a fixture at conventions, and this disease is just indiscriminate. It all hit anyone, and it is fast, and it is terrible losing anybody.
It really is. Yeah, it really brings it home. I mean, I think we're all pretty aware of the risks and taking it seriously. But yeah, losing somebody that we've known for years, it's very sobering.
It is, and it's the one thing when shows resume, which they will. I don't know what they're going to become, but when they resume, you'll be at that show where Charles would be at, and you'll just realize you won't see him, and you'll get that hole in your heart,
Yeah. It's true. It's it now, but you feel it, but you'll feel it at those conventions, missing those regulars that you kind of look for them, and then you realize as you're looking for them that they're not coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So trying to move to something a little bit more upbeat.
Like that Red Sonja cover.
The Red Sonja cover. That Joker is fantastic. I love the way you're giving him the disheveled hair. That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm such a Simon Bisley fan. Every time I'm drawing, and I haven't actually looked at his Joker in years, and I kind of do that on purpose, just because I did this with Mark Silvestri too. He was my teacher, and I learned so much from him. But it's so difficult to find your own way. For me, if I look at his work, I just want to draw it that way. I mean, there's no better way to do it, So, and the same thing with Simon Bisley. So I always have that in my head. That's what I'm thinking for the hair, but I'm trying to not. I'm not looking at it, so at least it's not,
Well, I mean, the thing is you're influenced, and you may appreciate what it is, the way Simon draws it, but you could be staring at it, and you could be influenced by looking at it directly, not just by your memory and your nostalgia of it. But no matter what, whether you realize it or not, you always put your signature on something. Every artist's work is based on other artists' work. There is no artist in the world that didn't grow up being influenced by anyone else. But regardless of the influence, it really comes down to you being you. And we talked about this a little bit last time. Yourself, Benitez, Turner, everybody at Top Cow, who was taught and groomed by Mark Silvestri, you guys all became your own artists. There's a reason why, outside of the original Image 7, I think there's a really good reason why most of the consistent popular artists came out of Top Cow, Wildstorm, and Extreme. And I think it's because there was that internal fostering of talent.
Yes.
And I'm a huge Silvestri fan. I mean, he's always been my favorite. And I just think Mark had fewer artists. Like Rob had a whole stable. I mean, he had a huge stable of artists, and everyone was distinct. It didn't matter if it was Chap Yap or Marat Michaels or Dan Fraga. It didn't matter who it was. They all had their distinct styles. But something about the Top Cow crew, I don't think there's one artist that was in Top Cow that did not become a superstar. There's you, there's Benitez, there's Turner, which the three we already said, but then there's Billy Tan, there's Brandon Peterson. There are so many great artists. I mean, Brandon was so fantastic that when CrossGen opened up, they made him basically the editor-in-chief of art. I don't remember what his title was, but he really just took it home. I mean, you had everybody like Anthony Wynn as well. You can look at, it was a small group of artists, but it was a group of artists that all, regardless of how much influence they had from Mark, you all became your own artist.
Yeah, CrossGen's another company that really had so many great artists come out of there. I mean, there were great artists that went to CrossGen and had a great career there, and then there are artists like Steve McNiven, who really got his start there.
Yeah,
and one of my very favorite artists on the face of the earth He's drawn all kinds of X-Men. He did a bunch of Batman covers. I just did something with Lex Luthor. I was looking at his artwork. I'm the worst with names. I can't believe it. I'm like this with everybody. My own family.
Not Claudio Castellini.
I missed it out for a minute. Who?
One of my favorite artists.
Jimmy Chung?
Yes, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy. And I'm a huge, huge fan too. Like a huge fan.
Dave's injured and on painkillers right now, so I'm giving him an excuse. I think he popped a muscle in his calf.
Yeah, we were walking the dog this morning. Now, the dogs. I think about a week ago, we go into the woods and there's a branch, like a big log over the path, and it had been hurt for a week, and I think I kind of hit it wrong a week ago. Anyway, I did the same thing again, and I could feel it like just hit. And I haven't been able to put weight on it all day. So, and you know what? I'm not an athlete. This is my first injury, really. I've broken like a minor bone a couple times, but this is
broke some ribs in a fight once. Yeah,
well, I didn't break them. Somebody broke them.
I was gonna say you didn't block those punches with your ribs, did you?
No.
Yes, he did.
That was a long, long time ago. But
in the galaxy far away.
Yeah, galaxy far away. Yeah, so I don't know how long this will go on. I mean, I figure I'll be kind of laid up for a few weeks. But
weeks and weeks.
What do you do?
Yeah.
At least my arms work.
There you go. All right, I got a couple super chats for you. This one I feel like is in Nick's wheelhouse. This one's from Michael Johnson Curry for $4.99. Michael wants to know, with the cons being gone right now, what is the best way to get in contact with publishers? Or is just waiting right now the best strategy?
No, I would never say waiting is the best strategy. I mean, what are you waiting for? There's nothing to wait for. I would say all the publishers are overloaded. There's no doubt about that. As publishers, we're used to working with freelancers from home and obviously multiple freelancers. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And we touched on this last time. Just hand in artwork, send it in if you can, but in batches and polite. And I don't know if you're a writer or artist, so either that or I don't remember. Was it a writer or artist, or you didn't say?
He's an artist.
Okay, so we touched on that. Send in your artwork. Find the submission form on anybody's website. For example, for Dynamite.com, we have a submission under editorial. The industry right now has less titles. Everyone is putting out less books because of COVID, because of the shutdown. So it is going to be harder to get attention. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. The patience you need to have is the patience from hearing back, not the patience of not submitting. The other thing we talked about last time, put your artwork okay. I jump around, which David and Meredith know. Let me try and do this in actual steps that make sense. When you draw your artwork, make sure you're your own worst critic. Make sure you draw sequential pages that are not just bam, action in your face, because everybody does that. Have a couple of pages of quiet moments. I think we made the example last time of, draw Steve Rogers waiting in line to get a cup of coffee, or, ordering cold cuts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then have something happen where he has to change into Captain America without anyone seeing him, fight the bad guy, and then go back to being in line, all within 5 or 6 pages, and pace it properly. I believe I also said, don't just listen to your family. Your family is not going to, or your friends, they're not going to be your greatest critics. Unless you have someone in your family that is so deadpan honest that they're pessimists and will really give you straight information, just make sure you're getting advice be your own worst critic and compare it to other people. And then what we discussed is, put it on every form of social media that you can. Put it in Facebook groups. Make sure you pop it on your Twitter account, especially Instagram. You're in a sea of thousands of people doing the same thing, but if you don't do it, you're not going to get out there at all. So you got to keep trying. And if you can team up with a writer and do something that becomes a Nash can, or even if you create an Indiegogo or Kickstarter, You'll then be able to start to cut your teeth more. And the most important thing is don't be picky about who you want to work with. And I don't mean this in a negative way. Just because you may not hear back from Marvel, from DC, from Dark Horse, Image, Dynamite, go with a smaller publisher. Go with someone that will help you cut your teeth. And whatever you do, just make sure you fulfill your commitments on time and have a published piece of work if you can, to use that as a submission as well.
Yeah, and
it's a hard road, and right now it's harder than ever.
Yeah.
But the only way you're going to do it is by doing it.
I just want to add also that if you get that job for a smaller publisher, which is definitely much easier and much more doable, it's a great step to make sure to treat it like a Marvel job or a DC job or a Dynamite job, and make sure that it is the best work you can possibly make it, because it will be your resume, moving forward.
That is such sage advice, Dave. You hit the nail on the head. If you don't treat every job as if it's your best job, and we touched on this last time, which is, as an artist, to grow, you have to look at your previous work and say, Jesus, I'm getting better. I wish I did this before. Do your work on time, but treat it like you're in the major leagues, because the only way you're going to make it to the major leagues is by acting like you're in the major leagues from the get-go.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That was a great answer. Thank you. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Sorry, I'm on the stream right now. All right, I got a few super chats I need to read. First one is from Anthony G for $9.99. Anthony says, Dave, thank you so much for that Proco video. I've always had trouble with shading and rendering, but it suddenly just clicked after that video, and I went on and did my best piece to date.
Well, that is great to hear. Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm really glad they did such a great job with the video. And Nick Proco is they've got a website. It's a fine art site where they teach figure drawing. Stanley I'm the worst with name. Propenko, and he's really incredible. And they've got millions of YouTube followers. So it was a huge honor to be on their site with a video, or on their YouTube channel with a video. So yeah, I thought that was great. And it's been great for the channel. We've been growing fast this week because we're getting people over. So it's been really good.
Nice. I have a question for you too, and only because I think it's a positive. What made you guys decide to do your shows on Mondays? Because I think one of the first times I saw your show was a Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was Sundays, and we had something come up that was like a social engagement. I can't even remember, come up that had been kind of a problem a couple times in a row, and Meredith just said, yeah, we can't be doing it on Sundays. It's not working. And I mean, it could have been Tuesdays, Wednesdays. The weekend is very tough. And I think the weekend is probably a better time for a show ultimately, but Monday is the time that we could do. I really wish there was some way we could be live, 8 o'clock everywhere, but obviously that's not possible, with time zones.
You are on 8 o'clock everywhere. It depends on when people tune in. It may not be live, but you are on at 8 o'clock everywhere. Even for the people overseas, if they watch it after work. The reason why I asked is because the realization just hit me. This is great that you do it on Mondays, because Monday's the first day of the week for a lot of people. The weekends are filled with live streams where everybody has a live stream. And I think by doing it on Mondays, your live streams are so great and so informative, so much fun. You give back to the community, that this is a great way for the fans to kick off their week.
Well, yeah, thank you. I think it seems like it's really worked out well, which is great. And I know for me, the truth is, generally speaking, live streams I end up watching after the fact. So, I'm definitely one of those. I'll end up watching it. I work all day and I need something to watch, and so I'll be watching somebody's live stream then. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're great to have in the background. They're fun.
Yeah.
I have another super chat that pertains to Nick. Dr. Rock Art says to David, read your emails, and I backed the Red Sonja cover.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Dr. Rock. That's really great to hear. I will check my emails. We actually have done 2 videos together now. We did a Halloween special, and we did a like a versus drawing where I drew Venom and he drew the Hulk, and he did a video for his site, his channel, and I did a drawing for mine. He also edited mine, and he's just got like this great kinetic editing style. Anyway, he's a great guy too. So I will check my email, and thank you very much for backing Red Sonja. It really does mean a lot.
I just want to read another super chat from Joe Tolliver for $4.99. Joe said, "Merry Christmas to us, and sorry we're having a tough time because we've been talking about Charles. Thank you for what you do for the community."
Well, thank you very much. That's very nice. I appreciate it. Thank you. So now,
Nick, here's one for you. Jerry Rasco, a super chat for $20. Jerry says, "I've been drawing Naughty and Nice for Marat at Counterpoint for a few years now and have a number of completed issues under my belt. Would Nick prefer completed books as submissions or just original pages or both? Because you only take physical submissions, right? You don't take digital?
No, we'll take digital submissions. I mean, here's what it comes down to. You just need to fulfill the submission form. And if you have a digital submission, you're fine sending it. I think there's a way, but if not, send it in physically. And you just proved the point. You've been working with Marat on this book. You've been published. That is your best calling card for publishers.
yes.
And again, it's exactly what we were saying earlier. Work with an independent if you can. And he did exactly what he said. He worked with an independent Marat, and it was a Kickstarter campaign, and he has his name out there. And that's the best way to do it. Now, the one thing I'll always add to any fan that's doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign is always have a plan. You need a plan. This is never as easy as, okay, I've got a script, I've got some art, I've got preview. I'm going to pop it up on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, raise $10,000, and go make my comic. You need to make sure that you have your PR ready to go. You need to make sure you build some kind of email list. You need to make sure that you're talking to fan sites. There are so many things you need to do before you launch a campaign to make sure that it does well. And that's the time I'll say, make sure you talk to your family and friends to get them to support your campaign, because you want those dollars to go up quick.
Yeah, I have to admit, with Red Sonja,
it happened fast. Like, it blew up fast.
It did great, but just from my standpoint, it was drawing the cover, and I'm so used to, I draw the cover, and then that's it. And this has been definitely much more of a, I've been advertising in the videos, and we're doing the live stream, and I try to make sure to mention it, and we're really pushing it, and it's a really different thing for me. Also promoting my own work, and I think it's great. It's tough, it's something to get used to, but I'm learning, and it really is a commitment, and it's been good so far. It seems like it's doing well, and I really owe it to all of you guys watching. So
all right, Nick, here's another super chat for you. Artsy Designs for $5. I know you need to be established to do cover work, but if that's what you want to try, what should you submit? Thanks, guys. Dave, by the way, is magic posted.
You're not going to, I would say, with very few luck of the draw exceptions, you're not going to get cover work just submitting artwork. I mean, you could be one of the best cover artists in the world, and it's going to be difficult unless, again, I will say unless, start submitting your work to smaller publishers. You're going to make far less money, but as David said, if you treat it like a Marvel or a DC job, if you give it 100%, at the very least, you'll have published covers. The biggest problem is that without you doing interiors to build a name, it will be very difficult to get on covers, because, and I'm going to use arbitrary numbers. you could be $100 for a cover, and David could be, again, arbitrary numbers. Not saying this is the number. David could be $2,000 for the cover. As a publisher, any publisher will still want to go with David because David has spent 27 years building himself up. And when he does a cover, it gets more attention. You could be the best cover artist in the world. You could be the next, honestly, Rembrandt, for example, just to pick a name outside of comics, so I don't pick anyone in comics. You could be the next Rembrandt, but if you don't have a following, you're not going to get the attention. There are a lot of painters that try to do the realistic style that Alex Ross did, and publishers hired them, and they were all fantastic painters, but the fans didn't buy those covers. And I mean, I'm not saying no fans bought them. Some fans did buy them, but it didn't add to the sales. So you've got to figure out a way to get your name out there and grow your audience first. I mean, again, if you look at the last live stream we did, we covered a lot of this about how David, after Top Cow, just really went back and reinvented himself, starting with Call of Duty and then growing out of it to Ultimate X-Men and the way he rebuilt himself and became one of the hottest Marvel artists.
I was at Marvel for, excuse me, 5 years, probably, I think. And I had done New Avengers, which was a huge, huge hit for Marvel at the time, before they ever asked me to do a cover. And now I did covers for my own books, but to do a cover for, I did a Daredevil cover, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, I'm doing a cover for another book. This is crazy, I have arrived. So yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing. You really just rebuilt yourself.
There are some comic book publishers out there who specialize in covers. Zenescope is one of them.
Yep.
There is if you're going to get the possibility of being a cover artist, you need to be hitting up companies that specialize in putting out like 10 or 15 variant covers and exclusive covers for their books, because that's really that's Zenescope's business plan, to put out like naughty covers and variant covers, and like they do, like they're the cover company.
Yes, and you can. So I'm watching so much MMA right now, and there's Bellator and there's One Fighting Championship. I'm probably saying that right. Anyway, there are other smaller leagues, and people go in there and you build your name, you get some wins, and then you get your shot. And you have to build it up. And I do think you go to Zenescope and you do some covers, you still need to, I mean, I guess it'd be like a win. You still need to be able to move the numbers, and if you can be successful with them,
I'm just saying, if you're gonna
other publishers will notice.
Yes.
But
no, Meredith said it exactly right. There are publishers that for them, the execution, because they have a strong base, where we're not saying that having a special cover artist won't grow their sales. Of course it will, but that is a good way to cut your teeth. And if you shine, that'll be great. It's still best to do interiors if you can, because 99% of the artists can make it.
Yes, well, and also I think if you never do interiors, Alex Ross did interiors, a lot of interiors, and that's why when he was doing he's still doing covers. When he does covers, they're part of the reason certainly they're so phenomenal is he has the ability to storytell, and that's an important part of covers. Frank Frazetta, who is I don't know, I mean, arguably the greatest painter of all time. Everybody knows Frank Frazetta is, obviously. He did comics for a lot of years, actually, before he started painting his covers. And a lot of people don't know that. And I think his covers, part of the reason that they're very powerful, but they really told a story, It was like a cliffhanger moment, and he really captured that. And I think if you don't storytell and you don't learn those skills, you don't have those skills.
And you got to keep in mind when Frank Frazetta was doing covers back then, it was a totally different world. You know, the comics were different, the magazines were different, the execution was different. You know, comics were a little bit more like paperbacks, where the execution was more important than the name of the artist.
Yeah.
And Frank Frazetta became a great executor because he did do interior work. I mean, keep in mind, he drew Buck Rogers, he drew Thunder, he drew a lot of characters, and he drew a lot of interiors. The fact that he exploded, again, when you look back, that was rare back then. There was only one Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, absolutely true. Actually, yeah, they're really, celebrity artists weren't really much of a thing at all. I think he was, well, every generation you have that one of a kind, special artist. And he was definitely his generation's.
You do. And sometimes it takes a while for people to catch up on how great some people are. That's just the way life works at times.
All right. The next super chat comes from Lau Delgado for 10 reals. Lau says, the best draw ever and always. Thanks a lot, David.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Lau?
Lau, L-A-U, Lau.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. And thank you for coming and watching and, being part of our stream.
That is one sick green Joker right there. I can just see the green and the red being the only pieces of color you add to that. It is so friggin' awesome.
Thank you. I love drawing Joker. And, I when I thought about drawing Joker tonight, I thought, yeah, I could draw the whole body, but really, it's the face.
It is awesome.
We have another super chat, guys, from Erica Scott. Erica has a super chat for $5. Hi, Dave. Hi, Meredith. Hi, Nick. Dave, how do you develop a sense of shading and anatomy, like not using reference? Like not having to use reference anymore. How do you develop that sense?
The way that I developed it is, first of all, now there's been a bit of a debate about George Bridgman lately.
Yeah. You told people to read Bridgman.
Right. And I need to clarify.
Don't read Bridgman.
I have to admit, I think I was afraid to say that I never read the words because I don't want to admit that,
David never read the words.
I never read the words. But really, when you do read the words, they make no sense. Not to me. And you know what? That's one thing, but not to Jeffrey Watts, who is the founder and head of the Watts Atelier in California. And I'd say, that's a definitive voice on the subject. And I think that still, Bridgman is phenomenal to look at. He's very volumetric. He has great hard forms, and he's really great at showing those forms, kind of turning in space. And I think that's number one. That's the, getting forms that you can move in space and that have a good solid, it's like mechanical pieces almost. If you can do that, that's step one. And then step two is, you take that form. I still have the thing from last week here because it's been hard to walk around today. Okay. So here's I'm just going to draw, here's an arm. I always just draw an arm for these examples, but there you go. There's my form, and it's simple enough, but it's got volume to it. And you can see very simply that if I light it from here, then all this would be dark. And you want to just be very simple with it. Don't go for more than one light source. I'm going to do a video actually on 2 light sources coming up very soon. It's something I'm getting a lot of requests for, and I think it's a great idea for a video, and I think I'd really enjoy it. And it's something I put a lot of thought into over the years too. Like I've really struggled with it. Anyway, so there you go. And that really all there is to it. If you can take forms, I'll draw a chest, and here's my actual. I'm still on the page. Good. And there you go. This is terrible, but we don't want to be here all day watching me draw a chest. Anyway, so there it is. I'm going to light this one from here also, and so this side is going to be dark. And the inside of the arm here, now I'm like totally not even refining my forms enough to make this useful probably. So I don't, what? I'm falling apart here. Okay. And my stomach, I want it to arc under a little bit. So I'm just going to shadow that out. And it's all about just turning forms in space, and you're shadowing away from the light. Keep it very, very simple. And just think in terms of plane change. That is the key to learning your lighting on your forms. Now you can get more complex. You can look at artists that do it beautifully. Frank Frazetta is, a great example. I don't think you could beat that. Mike Mignola, if you could beat Frank Frazetta, I'd say Mike Mignola, because he's a genius and he's phenomenal in his own way. But he's also very simple and very blocky, and he has this kind of an effect to his art. So it's really, I think they say, the artist that can make something really simple, it's much more difficult, and he absolutely does that. Not only with his figures, but his compositions. I'm, digressing big time right now, but yeah, I would say definitely try Mike Mignola, give it a shot, and try and think of your forms as 3D shapes in space. Try and turn them around in space, and light them just with single one source lighting, and do that for a long time, until you're very, very comfortable.
Perfect. All right, so Nick, here's a super chat for you. Nick still with us?
Oh yeah, he's right
We'll
here.
hold you for 10 more minutes, Nick, and then you can get on with your night. Michael Johnson Curry for $9.99. I've done small publishers, Blue Water, Archie, etc. These were for no pay. But what traits should I look for in a small publisher to warrant doing free or no pay work that would get my work out there more?
Okay, so free or no pay work. Wow. Low pay is one thing. No pay, I would say definitely limit your no pay work. The only time I think you should really be doing no pay work is if you're doing creator owned. If you did no pay work, hopefully you got plenty of copies of the comics to show around. There's over 100 publishers. And there are a ton of publishers that are digital only as well. Use those books to get other gigs. You drew the art, so you have the scans. Obviously, it's better to show the entire sequential work with the colors and the letters when you can. But I would say definitely limit the no pay work. Sorry, when you do that much no pay work, it just throws me off. So I apologize.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Like, I think you have to put value on your art. And I tell this to Dave all the time. If you don't put value on your art, nobody will put value on your art. And I think there's a fine line. Like, even if you asked for $50 or something, like, you need to give your art and your time and your effort a value.
Yeah, there's no reason in the world that, again, I'm an arbitrary number guy because I don't know what other publishers are paying, and this is far below what most people pay. But if you're putting 8 hours into a page, I mean, Jesus, please get at least $40 a page, at least. Like I said, I mean, that's basically $5 an hour. Get something. I mean, I get it. Look, if you're going to do 1 or 2 issues for free to get your name out there, that is something. We can't take away from that. That's an investment in yourself and your time. But definitely limit that, because once you're published, you're published. So just again, what was it? It was Archie and who else?
Blue Water.
Blue Water. You have those books. Send those books to a Zenescope or to a Fantagraphics or to anyone. Find people that are publishing digitally online. Find ways to create books to sell. I mean, look, this is a lot easier for prose authors, where you create prose novels and then you sell them on Kindle and on Google Books and everywhere else, and you're getting a royalty for every sale. But I'm sure you can find something like that for comics. And again, start posting your art on Fiverr, start putting it on your Instagram page, find pages, find Facebook groups where you can show your art and say, hey, look at this stuff that I have published. Editors will run across some of those groups. You might get lucky. At the very least, you have published work. Get it out there.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I do
Nick-
look like a very tired nurse. I actually caught that.
All right, we got 5 minutes left with Nick. So I've got another quick question. Graphic Knight, $5, wants to know what's the best way to submit sequential samples to Dynamite. You have a page on your website?
Yep. Go under editorial submissions.
Perfect.
Just go that route.
Easy.
All right.
All righty.
Yeah, and
I love it when things are easy.
yeah, it's it's easy to submit, but truthfully, it's a very difficult way to get in, and this is why it is sad
why
with conventions not being around, because
it does make a difference getting in front of somebody.
Yeah, I wish I could say, oh no, it's fine and it's not a limitation. It is a limitation. It really is.
You know what? Let me throw out one other suggestion. There are also a lot of agents that still work in comics, especially for artists. There's Court. I can't remember the name of his agency, but you've got David Campiti. You have lots of agents that you. Yep.
David Macho, although he does mostly Spanish guys. Joe Prado does a lot of the guys out of Brazil.
Yep.
Pepe Caldeon does a lot of Portuguese guys. Calderas, is that what it is?
Pepe Calderas, I think that's right.
Yeah. Calderas. So, there are lots of people. Google artist agent.
Yep. Exactly. Give it a shot. You listen. You have nothing to lose doing the research. Nothing.
And they'll put a value on you based on what you're worth, right? And then they kind of take the thing about an artist agent. They're careful who they take because they're putting their name and their brand out there. Like when DC picks up somebody from Joe Prado, they know that guy's going to hit deadlines.
You just hit a really, really great point. When we do work with the agents, and we do, it's because the agents, have vetted the artists themselves. So we already know that one layer is already there. The other thing is the agents, I hate to say it like this, but the agents are more honest about an artist's speed and ability than the artists themselves are. Yeah. So if you are under an agent, then a publisher has a better feel of what can happen. And you just have that extra ability. And the agent will also help teach you and art direct you. I said this last time about Jonathan Lau. Jonathan Lau has been with us 15 years. And when Jonathan first started, we put him on a monthly book, and it wasn't as good as it could be. And so his pencils were promising when we hired him, and he was great. We knew he was a great artist, but they weren't 100% there. He then took a break, and we had him do some sketch cards because we wanted to keep him a little busy. And the sketch cards came in, and they were so awesome. And we had a conversation with Jonathan, and he said, well, I wasn't under deadline, so I did them as well as I could. And I said, oh, you never bothered to tell us you should only do 9 or 10 issues a year, not 12. And he was just a 4.5, 5-week guy. And once we found that out, we've been working with him for 15 years, and he is one of the best artists we've ever worked with.
Yeah, I'm sure he was probably afraid to say, I can only do so much work. It's a scary thing. What if you say, you know what, can't use that, sorry, and that's it? And it's a fear, especially. I know just being an artist working at home, as much as you talk, you're not in the same building, and it's easy to become a victim of your own fears. So
all right, we gotta let Nick get on with his night because he's already given us a whole hour, and we don't want tired nurse Nick to not get to bed.
Tired nurse Nick, but I want to say, you guys have also given me a full hour, as have the fans, and I can't thank you guys enough. And as I said early in the stream, please check out the Indiegogo campaign. Even if you can't pledge right now because the world is crazy, don't worry about it. Just look at how beautiful the artwork is and play the video and listen to David talk about the artwork. You'll feel the passion that you put into it.
Share it on your Facebook. If you can't pledge, sharing is an awesome way to support the project too.
Absolutely.
Put it on your Twitter, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram. All right.
Exactly. David,
Thank
Meredith,
you.
thank you so much for having me. And fans, you guys are the best. And, you
Finch
know,
flock.
the Finch flock?
The Finch flock.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you, guys. Have a great one. And Merry
Yeah, you
Christmas
too,
and
Nick.
Happy Holidays to everybody.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas, Nick.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Nick.
All right, let's get back. I got some super chats. I'm going to read Dr. Ox first because Nick is still on for $5.49. Thank you, Nikki, for all your insights. Our community can really use your knowledge. D&M, thank you for your awesome show. You guys are the best. Thanks,
well,
Dr. Rock.
Thank you again very, very much.
All right, and our next super chat comes from Charlie Parks for $5. Dear Dave.
It's Wolverine.
Yeah, it is.
I say it every time. I'm not stopping.
You do. Every time. What would the stream be without my cough and you saying, it's Wolverine? Your art is the best. Did you ever look at my Joaquin Phoenix Joker in Discord? Your friend, the Wolverine. P.S. You the man.
Oof. Well, thank you very much.
No, he didn't. He's not.
I'm not.
He's behind on Discord.
I really
He's
am.
behind on a lot of things.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. I will make him do it this week, tomorrow morning.
Meredith took over my
he
email.
He can't walk the dogs. Yeah. That has now freed him up, people. I want you to hear this now. For a good 40 minutes or more.
That reminds me, where's SES powerlifting? I worked out 2 days ago.
You didn't do this working out.
No, I didn't do, but I did work out, and now I'm like
now you can't.
Now I'm laid up.
Now
but
you
I did.
can only do arms. You're gonna have swole arms.
There you go. Yeah.
Arms, chest, and back. Next, then I gotta do 2 super chats because then you gotta do book of the week.
Oh,
Tagamo Model Works
ridiculously small neck.
for
This is what happens when
$5.
I'm not
You're
looking
gonna
at
make
the
me get the book of the week too. I watched Jim Lee's Twitch stream
What
the
a
other
mess.
day, and he also said, "Don't read George Bridgman, just draw the pictures."
Yep.
So Jim agrees. And Avid has a super chat for $5. I've written. David has a super chat for $5 because I copy and paste them. I've written a lot of stories, but only started drawing a couple months ago. Should I start a webcomic now or wait until my drawing is better?
If you're a writer and you really want to get your writing out there, I think that it almost doesn't matter how bad the art is. If you can tell your stories well, that would be the more important skill at that point, I would say. You might not get work as an artist, but if you have the ability to really, get your story across and make it, most importantly, if you can, some artists really have an ability. We were just looking at an artist today. I'm looking at my picture and I couldn't really see what I was doing. I actually use this thing as my mirror a lot because it gives me a bit of a different view. I had this tiny little weird neck on him. So now it's a lot of fixing. Anyway, we were looking at an artist today and he had some development to do for sure, but there's just a character and feel to his art,
But even though his art wasn't perfect, it had an energy and a vibe. And
it really did.
And I'm telling you right now, if you can communicate an emotion in your art, editors will pick that over somebody who's really clean and technically perfect, but the art's flat.
Not always, but yes.
And any editor who's smart.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, book of the week.
Oh, right. Yeah, book of the week. Okay.
Do you need me to get up and get it for you?
No, I got it right here.
Okay, because it could be painful otherwise.
I'm all prepared. Oh.
We need a little sound effect.
Make a mess here.
As we go into book of the week.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Sound effect. It runs for a long time. Shut it off. Okay. So, book of the week this week is Trail of Steel. This is by Marcos Mateo Mestra, and I know that I'm saying that name wrong, and apologies to
that
Marcos.
Was harsh.
It's the best that I could do.
You want me to try?
Sure.
I'm better. I can't see it. Marcos Mateo Mestra.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But
okay. All right. Anyway, so
Mestra.
Marcos Mateo Mestra also
is worse than my English.
Has 2 books on perspective. Phenomenal perspective books. Highly recommend them. I think they're the best out there by far. And also he has a book on composition, which again, I think is the best book out there for composition that you can find anywhere. He is an incredible teacher and an incredible artist. And you can really see with this book, I'm just going to start at the beginning because every page, every panel is just beautifully laid out. Am I all the way out of my camera here? Let me just quickly make sure. I am. Okay. Whoop. Making a mess of my screen. Okay. Yeah. just the way that he frames his shots. This one here has a band of light coming all the way around and framing the figure, and he's using the horse's snout to kind of wrap this way. This panel really kind of leads down into this panel here, and he uses his rule of thirds incredibly well. So you divide a panel into thirds both ways, and I love this panel here where he's got like this whole big mysterious area here in the little face in the corner. This is a panel type that I love using all the time, and it's just framing, and this is just framing with shadow in the background. So he's got a window here. It's casting a large light. He's actually got the light. Looks like it's coming down further than the window, really, but it doesn't matter because it looks absolutely amazing. It's just a phenomenal shot. Also, his figures are absolutely incredible. He's just such a well-rounded artist. And this is all digital, too. This is, I think, the first artist where I thought, wow, you know, I love how, because it's a style that would really only work digitally, and it just, you know, it looks amazing, and I really wanted to try it. But it's like a free style that I struggle with that. I tend to draw much more, you know, tight and controlled. His action is absolutely incredible. And I don't know of an artist, I can't think of an artist that can do such outrageously great composition and then carry it over so well into action. He doesn't do much comic work. I think he is I want to say a DreamWorks artist, but he works in film production, that kind of thing. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of work from him, but this book is truly amazing. I love that figure. Just the arm, the power in that figure is absolutely amazing. And I love how he's got some horses and people in the background here, and it's just indications in the shadows, very, very loose. And even just in black and white, that stuff is kind of, it just pushes back, and it's not really part of the panel, but it is. It's extraordinarily well done.
And
unfortunately,
Marcos Pedro de Barros said that it's Mester.
Mester, thank you.
Mester?
Okay, Mester.
What seems Master is a little like, it's like Master, but just a little different. Mester.
Yeah. Like this panel here, coming up the stairs, it's really stunning. You know, I don't know how he does it, really. And this is where I find, for me, I can learn so much and I can get so much from art like this. But there's, you know, some artists just have a genius that is just their own, and he is definitely one of them. But one thing I have really gotten out of this book a lot is just his sense of composition, at least as much as I could possibly take in. I've tried to really learn from the way that he puts his shots together. Like this shot right here, it's all open here. He's using his rule of thirds very nicely, and he's got a face here, framing it closer here, and then she closes the eye here, and it's placed in the same spot in the panel. That's the thing that I learned. If you zoom in on a character in a panel and you do like a 3-panel thing, you want to make sure that the part you're zooming in on is in the same part of the panel. Otherwise, it jumps around. I had no idea, and I was making that mistake.
Good tip.
And I actually learned that from his composition book. He actually, you know, it wasn't like me picking it up from looking at his work. It was me picking it up from him directly explaining it, which is why he's so great. Yeah, unbelievable stuff.
Awesome.
And he really reminds me of Jorge Espino with some of these faces, the lighting, that kind of thing. So much character in a face that's almost entirely shadowed out. Just, yeah. Stunning, stunning work. So there you go. There's one more. You know, it's
all right.
I could go on.
This is the problem. Super chat from SCS Powerlifting.
Okay.
About your injured calf.
Okay.
For $5. SCF originally posted without the super chat, but he was afraid I didn't see it, and I did. But he still super chatted it. He says, "Awesome. Get some heat on it and use biofreeze." Gee, Dave, how many people have now told you today to put ice on your leg? That's what, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Actually, that's 4.
All right.
I've told him to put ice on it. His mother, a nurse, has told him to put ice on it. My sister, who also popped a calf muscle, told him to put ice on it. And now SCS, maybe he'll listen to you, SCS. Put freaking ice on it. And then heat, alternate ice and heat to reduce the inflammation the day you injure it. But what do I know? No.
Okay, all right. I'll put ice on it tomorrow.
I'm going to tie a bag of peas to his leg when we leave. And he's too slow to run away from me right now.
Yeah,
so.
It is true. My mother's also coming over with crutches, which I mean is crazy. But the fact is, I can walk, but it's a real shuffle. It's pretty bad. So yeah,
it's not a fracture. He popped his calf.
Yeah, no,
he tore it. I think just maybe like a little tear in the muscle.
It's not as bad as your sister's because she couldn't walk at all. So yeah, it's not terrible, but it's bad enough that.
Bad enough you can't walk.
Bad enough I can't walk. Not really well anyway.
Yeah. All right, I have to read this because DPLA Art has asked multiple times, and I actually think it's a great suggestion. Can you do the Grinch for the stream before Christmas?
No.
Really? You won't do the Grinch? Not even for your wife? You're a mean one.
Yeah.
Can I do that one? Is that one copyrighted too? David Finch.
Yeah, you know what? When we get a copyright strike, I almost am looking forward to it just so I can say, I told you so.
No, come on. That's not. Is that copyrighted? The original Grinch movie is from like 50 years ago.
Okay, let's just not play that game.
All right. You are mean, Mr. David Finch.
Okay, look, the best I can say is maybe.
Yeah.
How's that?
Oh, Rodrigo Barraza totally agrees with me. Dave, you should totally draw the Grinch for Christmas. Dave is the Grinch, says Kevin Mandeville. Oh, Kenny Wang says it's copyrighted.
See?
That's the worst.
He's the worst for trying to help you out.
I know.
That's how it goes around here.
Here's what Ed Ergel says: rice for your injury. RICE. Rest, ice compression, and elevation. And then, of course, definitely throw some heat on there.
Yeah, I have had it elevated. Now, for this, obviously, I'm not able to, just for the... But, I'm not going to die over the course of a couple hours doing a live stream. It's not going to kill me. But, yeah, I've been keeping it elevated today. Fortunately, I generally work on the couch anyway. So I was working on a cover for Marvel that I'm very excited about. I turned in the layout last night. I sometimes... What's that?
It's proved.
Yes, I saw, which is great. Yeah, but
Good thing because you've already started.
I know. Yeah, I've done that before where I've turned in a layout, but I know that I don't have a huge amount of time, so I just start and then I cross my fingers that it'll get approved, and it has not gotten approved. That's happened.
Not often.
I keep my mouth shut. I don't say, "Oh, but I already started," because that's the risk that I took. But yeah, no, that's a rarity, and it was fine, and I knew what he wanted, so we were good.
Other Minds has a super chat for $12.14, which I love that it's such an unusual number. Howdy, Dave and Meredith. Would you, Meredith. It's Other Minds says Meredith, and I have a hard time pronouncing Meredith, but I love it. Would you ever consider drawing a pop culture figure on the stream, like Indiana Jones, for instance? I would love to see you capture an actor's likeness.
Oh, man.
Does Darth Vader count as a pop culture figure?
He does. I think that counts, yes. So there. But I get what he means with an actor's likeness. I would say, here's the thing.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that would be great. Cyberpunk. I know that it's... And I have a PlayStation 4, by the way. And I'm playing it on PlayStation 4. That thing has crashed on me a few times, like a lot. And I don't care. It's such a great game. And I feel like, okay, yeah, no, it shouldn't be crashing so much. And they released it too early, and I can't argue that. But at the same time, I feel like people aren't talking about just what an absolutely ridiculously fabulous game it is. And yeah, I'm willing to take... Oh, you know what? Art9 just said R.I.P. Richard Corbin, and that's Richard Corbin just passed away. I think he was 80 years old. He's a phenomenal artist, a huge influence on Simon Bisley, on me, and he was an underground comics artist for years. He did Luke Cage for Marvel. Oh, geez, I want to say 15 years ago. A lot of he's been a legend in the business for a very, very long time, and he just passed away this week. So thank you for that, Art9. I had never actually gotten the chance to meet him, unfortunately.
That's too bad. All right. The next super chat comes from... It's good you caught that because I didn't. There it is. Carlos Nunez for $5. Carlos says, I'm working on inking a page for my first graphic novel project as I watch this on my TV. Congratulations. Any idea when you'll do a live critique? P.S. Thanks for the influence.
I have been saying I'm going to do a live critique for weeks.
But he hasn't called Robert.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, I need to talk to Robert. And what really has happened over the last, just over a month is I've actually been getting help. I got an editor. Eric Grove has been a massive help and made a huge difference. He's been helping with the website too. Like I couldn't do it without him. Eric's here tonight, and thank you, Eric.
Can't do it without Eric.
Yes, absolutely. And I've been kind of taking advantage of that, trying to catch up on work that I've been behind on. I was actually getting so behind. Meredith finally came up with a list and was putting it on the fridge.
We need a new list.
Yeah, we need a new list. And it was a way for me to go, okay, this is my actual workload that needs to get done. And I've just been using that time to get through that stuff. And it's meant things have been falling through the cracks. And that is really just about to change.
You won't be walking. Again, I'm going to say this. You're not able to walk the dogs. So yeah, every day when I leave to walk the dogs, I'm going to tie you to the chair with my computer.
Right.
And you can take care of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
And yeah, I haven't talked to Robert. Actually, I haven't talked to him since we did the stream, which is crazy. I mean, it's too long. I don't know how that happened. So I need to talk to Robert, and we need to organize another review stream. I'm missing it too. I mean,
miss your weekly chats with Robert.
Yeah. Charlie Parks, I haven't seen, and Lance DuBois is at both of our streams, and hopefully he'll come up for another one. Lance? Yep. Lance here?
Yes, of course he is. Lance is here. All right. Next super chat comes from Mark C for $20. Thank you so much, Mark. Mark says, nice talk with Nick Brucci. I wish more people would pre-order The Art of Sky Captain and The World of Tomorrow book from Dynamite to force its publication. Mine's been on pre-order through Amazon for over a year.
Oh, no.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
The Art of Sky Captain, The World of Tomorrow. Yeah, it sounds good. Well, maybe Nick will kickstart it or Indiegogo. So that would be awesome.
It would be.
And then we have a super chat from Comic Artist Pro Secrets for $100. One of these days, we need a Dave Finch Cyberfrog cover. It would be spectacular. Merry Christmas, Finches.
So do you know who Comic Artist Pro Secrets is?
I'm going to guess that's Ethan.
Yeah, that's Ethan Van Skyver.
Yes.
Well,
hey,
thank
Ethan.
you very much, Ethan. Yeah, thanks for coming by. It's great to have you here.
And thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, I've known Ethan. I've said this before, but I've known Ethan for how long has it been? It's got to be, I don't know, at least like 23 years. Maybe, am I wrong? Like, was it because he's been around just a little bit longer than me, but I think it was just a little bit before we actually met. Yeah, we have a lot of history together, and he's a hilarious guy. He's great, and he's here, and I really and thank you so much for the huge super chat. That's
so sweet.
It really is, and yeah, Drawn Cyberfrog would be an absolute blast. It really would be. We will have to talk. That would be so much fun.
And Merry Christmas, Ethan.
Yeah,
oh my
Merry
gosh,
Christmas.
Hunter? How old is Hunter now?
Yeah,
Hunter is Ethan's son, and I remember Hunter was like, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13, and he'd like wander the conventions. And we had Everett, who was like 4 at the time, or Isaac, who was a baby at the time.
Yep.
And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Hunter probably graduated university by now.
Oh, I'm sure. I remember because I think the first time that I met Hunter, he was a kid. He would have been, I don't know, probably 8 by then. So not so young, but he was there. We're having dinner. It was a bunch of us, and he was drawing at the table. And the next time I saw him, he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Holy crap! He was like
so fast.
No, it took our kids a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of used to watching that happen. But yeah, he was the first where I really saw that happen. It was great.
You're like, who is that? Wait a second.
What happened?
Yeah, the kid's not a kid anymore. Too funny. Too funny. All right. You've been playing that Cyberpunk game. Now Isaac wants it.
I let him play a little bit. Now I have to be careful because...
Is it appropriate?
No. So you have to be really careful where you let him play. So yeah, I watched him the whole time. Basically, first of all, I gave him the controller. I figured, okay, he's going to die in a minute anyway. Like, I'll give it to him, he'll die, and I'll get my controller back, and he'll go do something else. He walked into this area. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole thing. Anyway, walked into this area with a bunch of enemies, wiped them all out. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I would have died.
Well, he keeps saying he's not very good. Kevin Mandel Devil says it's way not appropriate.
Yeah, to say the least. But he was outside It was a very controlled area. Trust
There's
me.
nudity in that game.
There is nudity. Yeah. Oh man, it is such an inappropriate game.
Kenny Wang says Jordan Clark says Kenny Wang too spicy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? He asked if I could get it, and I said no.
No, he couldn't.
Dear.
It's actually so much worse than Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto,
which I used to let him play Grand Theft Auto, and this is quite a while ago. But I would have the sound down, which I actually have on Cyberpunk. Also, I had the sound down. But I had the sound down, and he would just drive a car around outside, you know. But even then, he would run somebody over, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm ruining the kid."
Oh, please don't do that.
I know.
Please don't. Do
If really, we're not the kind of parents that just, you know.
Apparently, we are the kind of.
Here's
parents.
a horror movie. Go ahead.
I go to the barn for 3 hours. I come home, and the kid's playing like a highly inappropriate video game.
Well, you know what? He didn't do anything highly inappropriate.
Thank goodness. That's because you were only one bourbon in.
I feel like I'm being slandered right now.
All right, everybody, that's your cue to hit the like button so that Dave doesn't feel slandered anymore and knows how much you love him. 441 people watching, 337 likes. Let's see if we can get to 500 before Dave finishes his Joker. Speaking of which, what's your ETA on that one, D?
My ETA? What time is it now? 9:20. It's going to take me just about, I'd say another 45 to 50 minutes.
What?
Meredith, I'm putting...
It's ahead.
I know, but I'm not doing this like a simple... Like, I want this to be... Now, I want to say, too, this is very loose. I'm sure you guys can kind of see, like, it's... My ink shapes are not tight and clean because I'm not an inker, and so I'm just slapping them in there, and then I can... I did this actually in an inking video, too. I can clean it all up now, and you will see, hopefully.
Oh, my God.
It doesn't fall apart. Usually they don't. Yeah, the amount of... I swear, this is one thing with inking. The thing that takes me the time is just being too impatient to really pencil and then having to clean it up.
You're too funny. All right. Next super chat comes from Ed Ergel for $4.99. Ed says, I finished inking the BD7 cover. I'm assuming that's Brightest Day. Number 7 cover.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what would BD be?
Yeah, it would be Brightest Day, I'm sure. Yeah.
I noticed less cross-hatching style rendering than normal. Was that a light source choice or a Bernie Wrightson choice or influence?
You know,
Which one was the Brightest Day number 7?
I can't remember. Truthfully, I will say this though: I have gone back and forth at times. Like, I've really over-rendered at times, and I've really pulled back at times. When I was doing New Avengers, I barely had any rendering at all, and so it's, you know, it's been a bit of a juggle and there are benefits to each, I find. And also I've found that there have been times that I've gotten so into the rendering and the finish that the actual art kind of suffers. Like, I'm just not concentrating on it enough and putting...
I think it was the one with Dead Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Part of that too is...
Yeah, it's a Dead Man one. Dead Man reaching for the lantern.
Yeah, you know, I really think that I was kind of assessing my art a little bit. And
you assessed your art a lot when you first started with DC.
Yeah, well, I went through... Because
you did digital. And
so I really went through some changes that I think were positive and negative, I'm sure, you know, but mostly positive. And then I really went through a period where I just fell apart. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I actually said this before, that I was trying to compete with another artist. I'm just going to say it. Jim Lee is the biggest artist at DC. I think the biggest artist in the business for sure. And, you know, has there ever been an artist that's been more high profile and bigger than Jim Lee? Well, anyway, I foolishly thought, I'm going to try and compete with Jim Lee. What can I say? This is what I was thinking. And you know, I made myself miserable. I drove myself crazy. I've really negatively affected my artwork. Jim Lee was fine. You know, I don't think it hurt him at all. Look, he's a great guy. He's incredibly supportive. But yeah, that's what I was thinking, and it was a big mistake trying to do that. I think it's healthy to try, you know, to look at his art and think, you know, I want to try and capture somebody's, you know, that stuff is healthy. But what I was doing was really not, and yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, and it really took me, you know, stepping back and saying, you know what, I need to be the best me that I could be, and not try to, you know, be Jim Lee.
Eric, awesome Eric, just posted a link If you haven't already purchased your copy of Dave's Batman Catwoman variant cover, Eric posted a link in the stream.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
Because Eric is the moderator extraordinaire. Everybody's like, don't compete with Jim.
No, and I can't.
You can't.
And nobody can. That's the thing. Like, you know, he's the only Jim Lee.
You can only compete with yourself. You
That's
can't
right.
be somebody else. I think
But
we've had this conversation.
look, we had this conversation when I was trying to do it because I was driving Meredith. I was driving everybody crazy, and I just would not listen. You know, it's a journey, and unfortunately, yeah, that was a rough period.
It's all right. We made it through.
We made it through.
And David is at 84.4 thousand subscribers, which is amazing.
It really is, yeah.
So if you haven't already subscribed, then we invite you to please click subscribe. If you're a new watcher, subscribe so you don't miss any of Dave's amazing content. He posts regular videos. We've always got the Monday Night Lives. You can go back and watch him draw. And then he has, how many tutorials do you have out there? How to draw hands, how to draw heads, how to draw hair, how to draw backgrounds, how to draw cars, which is a video that has blown up like 250,000 views on that thing. So that's the video.
252.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, but I'm, you know.
Pardonnez-moi.
Yeah, it really did great. I'm, you know, thrilled.
So.
Not that I would know the exact number.
So while you're clicking the like button, just roll your mouse on down to the subscribe.
See, and I'm going on about how I'm like more emotionally healthy now, and I can tell you the exact number on that video.
Know.
I'm so not healthy.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm working on it. It's a journey.
You so much. Mark C, $5 super chat. David Finch needs to compete with David Finch.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Jim Lee is too busy being crushed by AT&T.
Oh, well, you know, it's a difficult time for DC right now,
Yeah.
just with some restructuring, and I'm sure Jim Lee will be just fine. And I'm sure DC will be too. I mean, they are too strong a company with too many good people, and they lost some great people, which is a real shame.
They really did.
But they have some great people there, and they have some of the best characters in the business, and I think they will be all right.
I am going to read Keytopia's comment because Keytopia is saying the same thing that I've been saying. And you keep pish-poshing me. But Keytopia says, see, told ya, absolutely possible to hit 100,000 before the new year. And I agree, Keytopia. I think it is absolutely possible for Dave to hit 100,000 subscribers for the new year. And starting 2021, we've got some amazing new content for you guys where you might actually see Meredith on camera. It won't be the Monday Night Draw. It's going to be something else.
Yeah.
Are we going to tell them what it is? Not until we get to 100,000 subscribers, people.
I don't know. Should we?
No.
I mean, I'd be all for just saying it.
I'm not saying it.
But it's like better marketing if you don't, right?
Don't you love how I'm doing this?
Yeah, you're doing
Now
great.
everybody's flipping. They're like, what is it? What's it going to be? What's the new content?
Maybe. Or maybe
Everybody
they're going,
knows.
okay, wait.
I could read some chat comments. Dress Dave up like the Grinch, says my sketchbook 340.
No. You know what? I'll do it. Okay, I'll draw the drink.
Dave's already hit the hair pulling limit, says past Master Dan. I'd sub twice if I could, says F eager F forward D. That's all. I don't even know. I can't even read it. DSD E F E G V E R F W D. I love that you would subscribe twice. I'm trying. I'm doing.
And you know what? Your one subscription is absolutely enough and very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Really, really is.
What Erica Scott? What do all sane comic artists have in common? They're all subscribed to David's channel.
Oh well.
Thanks, Erica.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Sheldon Martin says, "Cool. We get to see Meredith. Yeah, it means that it better be on a good hair day. You might just start seeing Meredith on bad hair days too. Let's see. We'll see how it goes. The first stream, I'll put it all together for you though, and then it'll all fall apart. I'm not like Dave. He has good hair days every day.
Every day. That's right.
Every day, Dave has a good hair day. Erica Scott, the French. I love it. Greg L. Static Art, super chat for $2. Greg, hey, DNM, can't super chat again, but wanted to support. Thank you so much, Greg.
Yeah, thank you
We really
very
appreciate
much,
it.
Greg.
You know what? I just want to say, like, we love the super chats. We love all you guys for being here. Like, this is such an amazing community that we have. And I think, you know, the fact that Nick was so excited to come back on the stream and participate again is a testament to you guys, not to us. It's a testament to, you know, your kindness and the kind of inquisitive and intelligent and supportive community that we've developed. And hopefully, if we do more things, then what we're doing facilitates and contributes even more to what we're trying to create here. So, and Fat Cat 3211, we will not have Meredith riding horse on the stream, but if you, I think I have a video somewhere on my Facebook of it happening. George Vega Art.
I'm off the thing this whole time.
George Vega Art has a super chat for $9.99. George says, I fell asleep watching one of your videos, and the wife saw Meredith banning people and asked me why. I just said, yeah, she's savage like that. Sorry, I didn't tell her the truth. Winky face. I am savage like that.
I can't even remember why.
We just had a fun night.
This is why we get along, by the way. We get along because I never remember why I'm mad at her.
Oh.
If I could remember, you know, it would be much harder.
You mean if I could remember why?
No,
Ha 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 ha. Page one comment.
Jimmy's
Jimmy
here.
says, Meredith Finch, cool, we can now match a face to the feet. You may want to see the feet again after you see the face. All I'm saying, maybe the feet will be on the screen.
You know what's crazy? We have not met Jimmy in person, and we would have this year. Like, I talk to him on the phone all the time, and you know, he's in Texas, and unfortunately now, you know, we're just not getting the chance. And but I think Jimmy's married now.
He is.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
congratulations, Jimmy. That's
Hopefully
really
he's
great.
enjoying newlywed life.
Oh, I'm sure. He
All right.
is.
Mark C has another super chat for $10 on drawing hands. Jay Byrne, thank you very much, Mark C, by the way. Jay Byrne told me to look at the forearm lines. If you follow them, they flow right into the middle three fingers. It's helped with fingers and making sure my hands are in proportion.
Look at the forearm lines. I'm gonna have to check that out. And this is where, you know, there are tricks like that none of these tricks are, they're not real, and that's like lines don't exist in the real world. You know, everything's just, it's volumes. And so it's all finding tricks that make it easier and more relatable to be able to translate on the page. And so I'm all for any kind of trick I can find like that. So I will definitely have to check that out.
Jasper Plan 9 wants to know what software I use to script. I just found out about Scrivener. I just use Word. I'm lazy.
I'm gonna zoom in here.
I don't have time to learn a new software. So I mean, maybe there are things that would make, but it's how hard is it to type? I bold, I underline, I hit enter, I type. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the most efficient user. I use what I've got because I'm lazy. Jason Ladwig has a super chat for $4.99. Jason says, if you had to submit your work to get into heaven, what page, book, or character you've drawn to date would you submit? I already know what I would submit.
Yeah, you're definitely a lot further
I'm
ahead
in.
than me.
I submit the book of Ruth. That's it. Which Eric, I think, posted a link for earlier in the stream.
I did a painting of Jesus for you.
You did. He did a beautiful paint. 2 Christmases ago, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So, I mean, that's something.
Is that what you would submit? I think it was gorgeous. Again, if you scroll back to my Facebook page from 2 Christmases ago.
I think the problem is that, you know, it would be unrepresentative of my body of work and I would be screwed.
You also did a cover for the Book of Ruth.
That's okay. There you go. Doing better.
You know what? I think here's what I would say. I think that anything you've done, you could submit. And here's why. Because God gives you a talent, and all he asks is that you use it to the best of your ability. And I think you've done that.
Well, fair enough.
And we've been very blessed. So I have to consider that some kind of acknowledgement that we're at least on the right track.
I like that answer. Thank you.
You're welcome. There we go. There's Meredith's 2 cents for the night. Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat for $5. Dave, love you, Dave. Means a lot to hear you. Oh, sorry. Let me read this. Sorry, Michael. Let me go back. Love you, Dave. It means a lot to hear you talk about competition and how you're competing with Jim Lee. Because an editor once told me, why should I hire you if I can hire Finch? So you were my Jim Lee for a bit. LOL.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
It does. And, any artist that's out there, there's only one of them. There's only one Jim Lee. And thank goodness for all of us.
There should only be one Michael.
Yes. And, it's such a tough thing to put your work out there. And it's a very competitive business. I don't know where I'm really even going, I don't know. I've struggled with that for sure. Absolutely. Dennis
Kelly has a reason why I was banning people.
Yeah, I forget.
Pronunciations was the reason, LOL. I was banning people for the that was a different stream, I feel like, wasn't it?
It was. That was the next week.
That was the next week where everybody was correcting me on my pronunciation. People were just being sassy. And then I started banning them. Yeah. I think I might have started with Kenny Wang.
Yeah.
But then I had to unban Kenny because he's our like
because he's Kenny Wang.
He's Kenny Wang. He gets us all the likes every week. I think we had some weeks we were like 700 likes before we even leave the stream. So how could we do that without Kenny? We couldn't. All right. We did miss. Sheldon Martin says we all missed Jimmy's bachelor party. I didn't even get an invite.
Well, a little tough to make it to those nowadays. Unfortunately.
Yep. Especially up here in Canada. Brad Scott Art has a super chat for $5. Brad says, gorgeous Joker. For all who self-publish, do you have any distro recommendations to get the comic out there? And as always, Miss Meredith rocks. Aww.
Distro would be distribution.
Okay, thank you. I didn't get it. Sometimes it's really helpful to have you in my stream, Dave.
I'm glad to be here to help you out.
Oh, you know what? Honest, I will tell you.
I remember
for myself, Brad.
10 minutes when this was my stream.
It's still your stream because I let you have it. Sorry, I'm trying to answer Brad's question.
All right.
The single biggest thing that helped me out was Facebook. I hit Facebook every day, multiple times a day. I had a video that I made myself of the comic, of some pages from the comic. And I really do feel like a solid 50% or more of my backers came from Facebook. So what I would say is whatever social media it is that you use the most, that you have the biggest network for, hit that hard and often and make it feel like people are part of something special. It's about how you write. Don't just write, hey, everybody, come on over and support my Kickstarter. Because I'm going to scroll past that, right? Most people will. They're like, okay, whatever. You have to hit people. Think of yourself as like an advertising executive when you are pushing your self-publishing book.
And as creative people, that is a very difficult thing to do.
It's very hard.
You have so many doubts about your own work.
It's very hard to promote yourself. I totally get it. But you have to just put that aside and kind of wear an ego for a bit. This is awesome. You can't afford to miss this. That's what you need to do. All right. Next super chat comes from Jordan Coe for $20 New Zealand. Hey guys, just want to let Dave know that I'm loving his head drawing course. I'm taking a lot of courses at the moment. It's absolutely one of the best. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You guys are the best.
Oh, thank you very much, Jordan. Thank you for taking the course, and I really appreciate it. That's really great. And I will have. Oh, I feel terrible because I will have more for that course. I was actually going to do it last week, and I had a cover that was due. And anyway, it's coming right up. I have a whole other section, and I've got it all planned out. I've done some sketches for it. I find I do my best instructional stuff when I at least kind of plot out some sketches. Actually, you can see in the hand video, you can see toward the right of the paper all my little sketches that I did before I started, just so I wouldn't be aimless with the video. But anyway, I've got an extension for the head course coming, and it will just be part of the course. Like, it won't be an extra cost thing. So if you have the head course, it will just come in. It's going to be, certainly well over an hour of content. I think it'd probably be another 2 hours. Anyway, it's expressions, all different expressions, different head types. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
So the Scrivener program apparently helps with organization, but I don't draw characters like that kind of stuff. I don't do maps, and so it doesn't work for me.
Like mind maps.
Yeah, like so. Like do what works for you. Use whatever program works for you, and it helps you get done what you need to get done. Or Orion Trunk says, "I love that Jesus picture. It's beautiful."
Ah, well, thank you.
It was very beautiful.
Well, maybe in the new house we can actually put it up.
We will. We'll have to get it framed.
Yeah, that's a problem. I even have a Neil Adams picture. It's a sketch because, I'm not made of money over here, but I have a Neil Adams picture and it's in a portfolio because I've got a few. I've got behind me, you can't see any of it. Over here, I've got a Kevin Nolan sketch. I've got a John Meter Jr. sketch over here. Actually, it's a page. I've got a Mark Silvestri page.
I've got what are those pages I've got upstairs? The Thor pages? Who are they?
There's only one Thor page and there's one Wolverine page, and those are John Buscema.
Oh, see, there you go. We got John Buscema pages too.
And those ones actually are they're splash pages. And I managed to convince Meredith to let me do it because I said, well, it's John Buscema. It's always going to be worth a lot of money. So, it's not a bad investment.
Somebody's got to pay for Everett's college.
It's not a bad investment. The problem is, what I don't tell her is I will never in a million years sell it. From my cold dead hands will those pictures ever go.
It'll pay for our grandkids.
Yeah. Once I pass, I'll be like,
Mark C says for $5, look at the top of your hand. This is his forearm thing from John Byrne. Separate out your thumb and pinky.
Okay.
Now
Top of your hand.
Your forearm to your fingers.
Top of your hand.
Separate out your thumb and pinky.
Like this, right?
I don't know, like this, maybe. Like, don't look at your thumb and pinky.
Oh.
Now separate out. Now follow your forearm to your fingers. You didn't have your forearm in the picture. Oh my gosh, you're painful. Look. You follow your lines down. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway.
Huh. I'll have to.
He's going to have to do some research on it, Mark.
Yeah.
I can only explain so much. I love this. Al Padrino says Meredith banned me for being too handsome. That's true. Kenny Wang says it's all because of me. It is, Kenny. It's all you. Speaking of all because of me, our child has won money playing Fortnite twice now. How does that even happen? I will never convince that kid to get out of the house and get a real job.
Well, it's hard to live on $400.
It's true.
I mean, it's still pretty impressive. Don't get me wrong.
It is. We have another super chat. I have to confess, I can't read the script, and I'm not sure what the currency is, but it's for 1,220 amounts of the currency. I feel so badly, but I just want to say thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Maybe from I don't the keyboard's not translating. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very different kind of it's not Chinese, it's not Korean. I don't know what it is.
Well, we very much appreciate it. Thank you. And apologies that we can't read it.
I apologize. If you had a question, I would ask it. Thank you for the super chat. All right. Just looking through. Everybody make sure you watch Dave's Proco video if you haven't already. 12 days of Proco. If you want to know how to crosshatch like the master, as he's crosshatching right now. I'm just really reading the comments that the stream is saying. Because the stream is also promoting for you, Dave.
Oh, well, you guys are
because the stream is the best. All right. I just want to make sure I go back far enough because I don't want to miss anything. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it blips.
We're going quiet. We're
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just looking. I'm reading chats. Sometimes, why don't you put on a little sound effect while I read some chats? What sound effect did you put on?
Crickets.
Oh, Mike Montgomery says it was a stream where I played the song, not knowing anything about copyright laws, and then I just started banning people. That sounds right.
Oh yeah.
I had a
Alright.
temper tantrum.
Yep.
You're banned from the chat. That's right. That sounds good. Oh, it's maybe Japanese. Maybe it's Japanese. But Supersonico says hello to all Japanese viewers in the chat. And agreed. Hello to everybody in the chat.
Oh, and
All
by the
our
way,
international viewers.
Supersonico, thank you so much. He was on the. I went and I watched the Proco video. When they put it up, and I was reading the comments. I'm so the word. Another thing I wanted to go in and say, thank you, Proco, and I need to do that this week. I'm like the worst guest to have on the channel, but yeah, Supersonico was on there. Letting everybody know about the channel and
the best. I
yeah,
just said we have the best stream.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't wrong. We have the best stream ever.
Yeah, just very appreciated, really.
Ross Klein says, "Oh crap! I got rid of Skillshare because I thought you were done. Now I have to sign up again. Don't sign up again."
Yeah, no, it's going to be on my own site.
Dave is going to put it through his own site, so you don't have to sign up for Skillshare because that's a monthly thing. So you just have to pay for it. So we're not going to. He's not going to do new content. Won't be through Skillshare.
Yeah, Skillshare.
It'll be through his own site.
Yeah, I have no control over the fact, and this was something a lot of people were upset about Skillshare because you have to pay. I think it's like $50 a month, in a subscription, and if you're only if you're just trying to get my video, that's a pretty big commitment for things that you're not looking for necessarily. Now there are good things on there for sure. I mean, you can find Robert Marzullo's stuff on there, which I highly recommend. But yeah, it's just going to be on my own site.
Joshua Taylor says, "Really digging the heavy darks, David. Looking great. Thanks for sharing, man."
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Johnny Cage says, "Wait, you guys have to pay for college?" We have to pay for college, and let me tell you, in Canada, it's nothing like paying for college in the States.
Why are you saying it's more expensive? No.
In the States?
In the States, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like us having to pay for college is nothing like
Oh,
what
right,
people
okay.
have to pay for in the States.
I thought you were going to say that
Yeah.
Canada is worse.
No.
It is not.
It is nothing like what the States are. Because ours are somewhat subsidized.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. I don't even know how you go to college in the States. Lance De Boyer says, 3 of the pictures behind me are David Finch originals.
Thank you, Lance.
Thanks, Lance. Erica Scott wants to know if you draw Mary Jane sometime.
Yeah,
Please.
absolutely.
That's a great, actually.
That really is.
Erica, that's a great choice. I'm
Yeah,
writing it
for
on my
sure.
list. I'm pulling up my list. I'm checking it twice. I can't sing this song because I'll get in trouble. See, I modified it. So it wasn't copyrightable.
It's very clever.
Wasn't it? I'm just smart like that. Mary Jane. Done. I feel like we need to end all our streams now with the "May the Flock be with you," except that might be copyrightable.
I think you're probably okay with that, actually.
May the flock be with you.
It'd be like parody. I think that one you'd be all
There
right.
we go.
Amazingly enough.
We can use it in our new endeavor.
Right. I'm not doing that.
Oh, Alame says Ethan knows how to isolate super chats so that easier to work with. You should give him a call. I know he'd be happy to tech out. That would be awesome. I do need help with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the super chat, like I'm scrolling through the stream to see the super chats, and sometimes I miss them. So that would be fabulous.
It would be. You could give him a call anyway. Just
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in ages. Last time I saw him was 2 years 2 years ago at a convention, and he came by and said hi. We talked for a minute, and it's busy. So it's been a while.
Mark C,
Come on.
$5. Have you ever drawn Flash Gordon? Super chat question.
No, never.
No, you haven't.
I have not. Yeah. That would actually be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be. Artsy Bible Nerd wants to request the Falcon for a future stream. That's a great one too.
Yeah,
Writing
absolutely.
the Falcon down. Love the Falcon. Do you remember Farhat?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We
Farhat
have the
gave me
Falcon. I know we have the Falcon.
No,
from
I'm pointing
Farhat.
to it. You can't see it because
You
everything's so
can't see
dark
it.
back there. But I have a falcon statue that Farhat gave me. That was probably
We love
14, 15 years ago
We
now.
love Farhat so much that he made us fans of the Falcon.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know who the Falcon was, but I always love the Falcon now just because of Farhat.
Yep.
So if you don't think you can influence us, you can. Kevin Mandevil for $1.99. Kevin wants to know if this isn't already, it should be a commission.
I'm sure that it will be.
or for sale.
Yeah.
Charles Petrie says I need to write my own songs. It's true. I mean, I did
Don't
sing.
encourage her, Charles.
I did sing the kids' songs that I made up. So I won't. I will write. Maybe that's going to be part of the new endeavor too. Singing.
Oh man, I'm out.
Dave won't do it if I sing.
No.
He's a threshold of how much he'll tolerate from Meredith. We have to be playing Rock Band for me to be singing.
There's a limit.
I do want to look into getting copyright. I wonder what, like, as like a small radio station. How do I get? I'm gonna investigate.
Okay, great.
I know you really want to know that.
No.
Oh dear. Ugh. Matthew Mangy's playing guitar while he watches. Some singing would not go amiss. I can't even sing Christmas songs. Can I sing Christmas songs? Am I allowed to sing Jingle Bells?
Meredith,
Is that copyrighted?
Can we just not do it, please? I mean, I don't know, but
You're grumpy.
it's
You're
getting there.
sore. He's in pain, people. I can't sing tonight. My sketchbook 340 says, I know the feeling, Dave. I have a face for radio and a voice for print. Too funny. Too funny. All right. Jingle Bells is in the public domain. I won't do it tonight. I'll do it next week.
Okay, there you go.
I promise next week I'll sing Jingle Bells since it's in the public domain. Thank you, Artsy Bible Nerd. I won't do it tonight.
Now we have.
I won't do it tonight because you're grumpy and you're in pain.
I'm
less painful tomorrow.
I'm
or
just
next
fine.
week.
We have what for Christmas?
You're gonna draw the Grinch.
And is that next week though?
It really is. Next week is the Christmas week because it's the 21st. The week after that's the 28th, and Christmas is come and gone.
All right.
So we gotta decide. Maybe you dress Santa, evil Santa. Oh.
Well, if I'm going to do the Grinch because I love
the
Dr.
Grinch
Seuss,
would be awesome.
but I want to do the Dr. Seuss version. You know.
Is there any other version?
Yeah, well, there's the Jim Carrey version, which
no.
I love to death. I really do. I've seen that movie a million times.
No,
'cause
I'm
we
not
have
saying
kids.
it's not awesome, but the only Grinch that can be drawn
Dr. Seuss.
is the Dr. Seuss Grinch.
There you
I
go.
don't want something else.
Well, and it's definitely good for you to pick the one you want because you will never sell it. We'll have that one forever.
You know what I'm going to do?
What? Auction it?
No.
Give it away for charity?
No. I'm going to frame it and put it in the Christmas box. So every year when I decorate the house for Christmas,
You can put up the Grinch picture.
I can put up the Grinch picture.
There you go. Fair enough.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And Ross Klein agrees with me. You can't. Ross Klein says, "Amen." You can't draw any other Grinch.
No. Absolutely. I am glad I did a big head today because I'm like just a little bit mentally.
El Padrino says Meredith should write a song about the Finch flock. Yeah, I will. You know it now. Making up a song about the Finch flock. I'm not going to sing tonight. I won't be the one to sing the song. My voice isn't that good, but
I think you sound wonderful. We shouldn't sing though.
Mark C has a $5 super chat. Mark wants to know if you have an Ethan Van Sciver drawing of Santa in his underpants.
I gather one exists.
We don't have one. We'll have to Google that.
Yes.
Oh, Jimmy says, Meredith and Dave, be sure to draw the Grinch's little dog, Max.
Oh, yeah.
You can't draw the Grinch without Max. Oh, I love Max. Oh, my gosh. Speaking of Grinches and Christmas movies and stuff, Isaac and I were watching Klaus. Not Klaus. I always say Klaus, but it's Claus. But it's Claus. So it makes me want to say Klaus.
Klaus, right.
But it's Claus. Isaac and I were watching Claus, and we'd started it, and then we had people over and then for dinner. Only 2 people because we don't want to break quarantine rules. We only had 2.
This is the Kurt Russell.
No, that's the animated one.
Oh,
The letter
yeah.
carrier.
Yeah, I saw that last year.
And so
Yeah.
then you went to watch the fight with our friends. again, in limited numbers of people.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Isaac and Isaac when I were watching it, and we were watching it in bed, I fell asleep. And I woke up and he was crying because he stayed up to watch the movie and he was crying at the end. It was so sad.
All I had to say,
He was happy sad though, right? Happy sad.
Tony Ferguson lost the fight.
Dave, I just want to say this before you say that.
Yeah.
David's banned from the chat because David just told Meredith Finch not to quit her day job. He's banned from the chat, Eric. Every week, someone's just got to push me too far. Glad I don't have moderator status.
Way to go, David. Yeah, so Tony Ferguson fought. Again, I'm terrible with names. Somebody in the chat's gonna know. Anyway,
He lost. He sucked.
oh please don't do that. He lost. I was very. I
were
really
upset.
thought, yeah, he was coming back after losing to. Oh my gosh, Justin Gaethje, and yeah, he didn't look on. It wasn't great. I was also, you could call me a casual hardcore fan. Like I'm watching all of it, so I'm more of a hardcore fan than I was even a few months ago. But I'm casual in the sense that I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I want to watch them punch each other. I don't really like it. I don't like the wrestling. I don't like it when they clinch. I know that's important stuff, and that's what a casual fan's going to say that, and somebody that really knows what they're looking at and what they're talking about. Kind of scoff at the people that. But whatever, I'm a casual fan, and watching Tony Ferguson get sat on with nothing else happening for 3 rounds was really, I hated it. It was, I'd rather see him at least lose a fight, go out there swinging, go out on a shield the way he did with Gaethje than to just get sat on. And I understand holding down Tony Ferguson like that is a no easy feat. Got to have respect for it, but I freaking hated it. So there you go. There's my fight analysis
For the day. All right. Here's the next super chat from Sheldon Martin for $5. Sheldon says, we need to have the Grinch colored and sent out as Christmas cards. Boom. I just typed that. Merry Christmas. All right. You draw the Grinch this year. I'll get it colored, and that'll be our Christmas card next year.
I think that's a great idea. I love
Genius.
it. Way to go.
Sheldon. Genius.
Sheldon gets a free one.
Free Christmas card. Guys, did you decorate the house? We absolutely did.
Oh, yeah.
Of course we decorated the house.
We had to take pictures of it to put it up for sale.
And then we decorated the house.
The very next day. Because apparently, like, if you don't sell right away, you don't want to have Christmas pictures up on your for sale pictures because, it doesn't look good. It sold quickly, thankfully. But, yeah, so we decorated the next day.
We did. And now the house is sold, so I don't have to take them down. Erica Scott says, do not mock the Finch flock or Meredith will ban you. It's true. Don't mess with Meredith. Don't mess with Meredith. Everybody in the house knows. Don't mess with Meredith.
She's unstable.
It's true. All right. Kevin Mandevil, one super chat for $1.99. Draw Krampus for Christmas, David. That can be our Christmas card for the next year.
Krampus is like a horror character.
I know who Krampus is.
So you're going to put that up for a Christmas card? I mean, I would love to do it. Don't get me wrong.
Krampus with Santa. Like a Krampus Santa. Like,
you know what? If we did a Christmas, I would want it to be.
Yeah, just do Krampus. Who the heck
I would
cares?
just do Krampus.
If they don't know what Krampus is, every year you're going to draw we have to stay on the stream so that Dave can do the Christmas card. We have to stream forever now so that I can get a hand-drawn Christmas card out of Dave every year. I'm just saying, my mom paints a Christmas card, and so does my aunt. And here I am living with an artist.
With deadlines.
I know. Uh-oh. Next super chat comes from S. Trista. I believe that's Steve Trista for $6.99. Steve says, Tony, if not Steve, then S. Trista says, Tony Ferguson was not the same after losing that bad to
Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, yeah.
Love the Joker.
Thank you very much. That's Steve Trista. Steve Trista is a local, and a really, really talented artist, incredibly talented, and also a mixed martial artist.
He is?
Yes. Yeah, he does that all. Yeah. So, no surprise that the MMA talk brought him out. Thank you so much for coming and saying hi. Yeah, I haven't seen Steve it's been a couple years, so you're gonna have to come by, Steve. Come by and say, well, Yeah, probably
now.
not, but
Can't come
soon.
down, can't come by
Yeah,
now. We're
it'll
in
be
gray.
Great to see you again.
Gray status. That means no visitors.
Ah,
Brad Scott Art has a super chat for $10. Thank you so much. By the way, Steve, thank you for the super chat.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
well,
Brad,
thanks
super
for
chat.
coming by.
Brad says MMA is not boxing, David Finch.
I know. This is why I say I know that I'm a horrible casual fan. I understand that, but
And he also said Miss Meredith still rocks. Thanks, Brad. Haha.
I watched with some other people, and we all agreed, but we're all
Casual fans.
basically, yeah, So what do you want? But you have to take people like me into account. You really do. As a sport, I think wrestling is you have to be able to wrestle. It's whatever, but you have to be. Bear in mind, I watched the Contender Series, and Dana White. It's Dana White's Contender Series. He's the president for. Letting you know, Meredith. I don't even want to tell you. You don't care.
When you start doing this, I just tune out.
Okay. Anyway,
I just start looking at Facebook feed on my
phone. To make it to the UFC from the Contender Series, you pretty much need to get a knockout. You can get a submission, but what you can't do is win a fight by sitting on somebody. And the reason for that is nobody wants to watch that. So,
All right. My sketchbook 340 says it happens sometime. Some guys wrestling and jiu-jitsu is just hard to get past. You sound like many anti-St. Pierre UFC fans. Because he usually won by points. And I'm pretty sure St. Pierre was Canadian.
He was Canadian, so you got to know I was a huge George St. Pierre fan.
That's right. So it's good. It's only good for the Canadians. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm utterly and completely biased.
This dream is now discussing Krampus versus Santa. Ross Klein, Krampus versus Santa. 2 characters enter. 1 character leaves. Mr. Comic Art, the Grinch or Krampus. I would love to see either one of them or both. Wink, wink. Next week's stream, Supersonico says, will be awesome. The Grinch, and we get to meet Mare. You don't get to meet Mare next week. You have to wait. Well, maybe we'll have 100,000 next week.
Yeah. Oh, no.
By next week, but I don't think so. But what I did say is that we have something in the works for when we hit 100,000, where you will get to see Meredith.
It'll come up well before we hit 100,000.
We'll see. I'm not going to say anything. Are you going to say something?
No.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
I'm just going to tease it. I'm actually pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Isaac's like, this is the best. I said to him, I need to go wrap Christmas presents, so I don't want you to bother me. He says, where are you going to be? I said, well, I'm going to be in the spare room where all the Christmas presents are. Are my Christmas presents in there? I said, no. I'm smart enough to know better than to hide your Christmas presents in there. You know me so well, Mommy says. Like, I hid them anywhere else. They're also packed in the boxes that they arrived in because I did all my shopping online.
At some point, I should
Raj
probably zoom it out.
Says, Meredith, could you please ask Dave to add a crowbar to the Joker? Only if it doesn't take us till 10:30.
I would. You know what? I'm going to do it just for you.
Raj V. He's banned now. I read the chat though, so maybe I have to ban myself.
It won't take long. And what time is it? 10:03. We're doing pretty well now. It is
Are
a
you
big
done?
head. No.
Oh.
But I'm getting pretty close.
Okay. Yeah, but where was the time where we were normally ending at 10? Now suddenly, because you draw these detailed sketches, you think 10:30 is the norm.
I'll tell you what, this is the first time on the stream. I know it's a big head, and so it's a little more simple, but it really is the first time on the stream I've been able to just sit down and properly render something where I'm not just going, ah. So
Does anybody notice I haven't yawned tonight?
No, well, I didn't.
Do you know why?
No.
I slept until almost 8 o'clock today.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
True. I don't know what happened.
Breaking me down.
Well, it's good though.
I'm worried that the bathroom fan isn't going to last till we move out. It's the only thing that lets me sleep through Everett's Fortnite. Yo, dude! I didn't even do it right.
Okay, don't do it again. You already just woke somebody up. Somebody's watching going, what?
I woke someone's wife up. What was that?
I actually fall asleep to streams quite a bit.
I know you do.
I should stop that. You know what? I'm down here to work.
That's true.
I don't sleep down here.
I probably did wake somebody up, and they're looking at their clock right now and going,
yeah.
"Oh crap! I got to get to work. I fell asleep." Not today, but somebody who watches later on this week. So there you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Comic Art says, "I'm usually yawning at 6. Honestly, every night I'm passing out on the couch at 8 o'clock. I don't know how I'm here, but yeah, because it's like I try to stay up, but we sit down on the couch and we're watching TV, and the next thing I know, I'm just like done."
Well, you're doing something active, so it keeps you up.
I'm outside all day, so.
No, I mean on the stream, like you're actually actively
Fair
involved.
enough. I'm not passively watching TV.
Right.
That's true.
That helps.
True dat. Matthew Mangy says, "Yeah, I love falling asleep to streams." You're not the only one, Dave.
Yeah.
My sketchbook 340. Mike Miller. As much as I love him, he was like Ambien.
It's not such a bad thing, you know?
That means you have like a soothing voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Mandeville. Super chats do not cut out at the 2-hour mark. They don't. But I always say we're running to an end so that I don't get more super chats. Chicken Nugent, I think is how I say that. Can you draw an epic fight scene of Tom and Jerry? No, you're not going to do that. But let me tell you how excited Isaac is for the upcoming Tom and Jerry movie. He talks about it all the time. "Mom," he says to me, "did you watch Tom and Jerry when you were a kid?" "Yes, I did. And so did your grandfather." That's how long Tom and Jerry have been around for.
Been around for a while.
Been around for a while. So, very excited about the new Tom and Jerry movie. All right.
Sometimes it's so much better than a pencil. I just go wham, wham, wham.
There you go.
Nice big thick lines.
Henry Jeremick wants to know if you would consider drawing Bruce Lee.
That would actually be a lot of fun. That would be great. The one thing I would say is everybody here you'd see my technique for in my defense is not an uncommon technique, but if I have to draw a likeness, I trace it off the screen, man. I don't have time. Like I don't trace detail because then it gets really static. But what I do is, I'll trace the face. I mean, I cannot do a likeness on my own. And I have done it. Like, yeah, I mean, I could do something somewhat like, I guess what I'm saying, I'm not Jeff Campbell. J. Scott Campbell, who is a great caricaturist. I'm not. So, I could do it, but,
Speaking of which, there is a Jeffrey Campbell on the stream tonight who says, "Looking good. Keep up the hard work, Meredith and Dave."
Well,
I'm assuming it's not that Jeffrey Campbell because it's Jeffrey with the GEO.
Oh, yes, right. Well, and he would be J. Scott Campbell.
And then Kevin Mandeville says, "Meredith, can you ask Dave if this drawing has one primary light source or multiple?"
It has two. It has one. I'm going to zoom out because we're almost done, and I'm kind of starting to throw a lot of detail just everywhere, and I'm probably off the page all the time. And it's actually, my proportions are looking a little off too because my camera's a little weird right now, or maybe the proportions are just off. So I've got one light source coming from here. That's my major light source, and I've just got a kicker from here. And the nice thing about doing a kicker kind of a light source is, see if I can do this without Meredith freaking out.
Oh, while you do that, just let me read this. Simon Bonifant had a super chat for $2. "Hey guys, great Joker. Missed my other super chat. Oh no.
No.
I do need to talk to somebody who can help me.
Yes, sorry, Simon.
Not miss super chat. Sorry, Simon. And thank you for the other super chat. I thought I had all the. It's pretty good about getting super chats, but.
So yeah, I like doing this kind of light source because I can put a shadow against it and it really pops. I mean, it really pops when a colorist works on it too. A colorist will naturally go darker here and put that brighter light there, and it'll give you that effect. So there you go. Try and get this in as fast as I can. I can hear Meredith hyperventilating back there. It's not that late. This does mean I'm not going to be able to get the crowbar in there, so apologies for that. I said I would do it, and now I just put a big black.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
People are mad. People were excited about the crowbar.
Here it comes. Anyway. I really wanted this to be as tight as I could possibly make it. Like, something that I would really do for a cover or something like that. Truth is, it's not as tight, especially in the hair. I cannot get as tight.
Oh, see, now you have to do it. Raj V super chatted for $5, and Raj said, "Thanks, Meredith, for reading my comment, and to Dave for adding the crowbar."
All right, I'll find a way.
Sick.
Find a way.
There you go. Got to do it now. And then we have a super chat from EM Geist, G-I-S-T, for $10. EM wants to know, what advice would you have for more rigid, academically trained artist who wants to learn a more dynamic comic book style? You want me to read that question again?
I think I know who that is.
EM Geist, G-I-S-T.
If I'm right, he's a painter and a phenomenal, incredible painter.
Can't be that person because he wouldn't be on your stream.
No, I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to answer the question. And I would say...
Draw your crowbar while you do it.
I'll draw the crowbar. I would say yeah, I'm all flustered now. Gesture drawing is such an important part of academic study. So any academically trained artist would have a huge, leg up in that regard. But doing really simple sketches from comics, like especially, look at Jack Kirby, the crazy figures, but his stuff is so incredibly dynamic and you can get so much out of that. And then, and it gives you a range of poses. You really want to get the foreshortening and some of the things that you really don't see in an academic pose so much. So that's one thing for sure. And then the other thing is in drawing something from your mind, what I find, especially, you run into anatomical problems that are different than what you're going to see in a photograph. And you need to be able to, bridge that gap. And I think that the best way to do that I've found is I've got a huge collection of photographs of anatomy and different lightings and that kind of thing. And I don't use it all the time, but certainly if I'm going to do something painted or something like that, where I really want to give it a bit of a realistic feel in so much as I can, I'll get that stuff out, and then it's piecing it together. And so it's a bit of a puzzle. And I find for me, I end up with areas that are less good. I'm answering this question so terribly. Another trick, and this is like the Frank Frazetta trick, or well, I don't know for sure, but what you'd want to do is, or Alex Ross is a really good example of this. You draw your picture just from your head and just, create something and then photograph based on what you've already drawn. And you want to draw it as well and as tightly as you possibly can. So when you're referencing, you're not picking up, the stiffer kind of poses that you can get from life, especially a character with a lot of movement. That's a very difficult thing to photograph a model doing because they'll just fall over, So, yeah, that's what I would say. But, I kind of also don't know exactly, like an artist like Brahm, is absolutely amazing at doing realistic figures that he's clearly also just doing from his head. And that's it's a real skill. I know comic artists that can do beautiful painting, but it looks like cartooning. It's an artist that like Frazetta that can make it look realistic, but it's cartooning it's very unusual.
Just so you know, the Jeffrey Campbell on the stream,
yes,
is your Harley Jeff.
Oh, really? Jeff, yeah, and you said with the wow, jeez, man. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming by and watching the stream. That's great. And
he's the guy that takes care of Dave's bikes.
Yeah. And
I'm the guy that tells Jeff about all the problems with Dave's bikes because Dave can never make a phone call.
Yeah. And so Jeff is the one that has to put up with Meredith, and Jeff, he's
so everybody
very gracious.
Everybody just, send some love Jeff's way. Because again, he has to put up with Meredith.
Wow, that's really great. Thank you so much for coming by, Jeff. I really appreciate it. It's great to have you here. We have so many people coming today that, we have Steve Trista, which is a huge I haven't talked to Steve. Another person I haven't talked to in so long. Yeah, Jeff and
Ethan
we
jumped
had
on the
Ethan
stream
here,
tonight.
which is
Yeah,
great.
it's crazy. Crazy.
All right, so before Meredith,
Did you do the crowbar?
yeah, I did.
Got a crowbar in there? Awesome.
You know what? I got a couple more lines really fast, and then I'll sign
Before
it.
I lose it. I'm
And
pretty
yeah.
good tonight because I
Yeah,
slept
actually,
in so
you
late.
really are.
And Eric has a great. I love Eric. Honestly, there's no one who can replace Eric because Eric swoops in with a "Don't forget before you leave" to back Dave's Red Sonja cover for Dynamite Entertainment. Only 9 days left.
Yes, please, if you can, if you're a fan of Red Sonja.
Hey, if you can't afford it, click share. Go on the Indiegogo page, click share. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. Maybe somebody you know wants one. Maybe somebody you know wants to buy you one. You just never know.
You never know. All right. I wish I could get this whole thing, and it's so big, it's not all really fitting. This was a lot of fun. I think I'm actually pretty happy with this. All in all, anyway, it was fun.
Yep. Thank you guys for being with us. Everybody have a safe and healthy week.
Yes.
And we will see you next week where Dave draws. I want to sing it so badly. The Grinch.
On that note. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. I'll have another video up. I'm working on it this week. It'll be up next week. It's going to be on Clip Studio Paint. Actually, that reminds me, I'm so sad. I wanted to ask on the chat what people would want me, because I want to do something in Clip Studio Paint. I have not done Clip Studio for so many years. It's going to be like jumping in fresh, and I'm excited about it. I need to figure out what to actually do, so I'm not just drawing circles. Anyway, that will be coming up in just about a week and a half from
And
now.
thanks for the reminder to take out the trash. Artsy Bible Nerd took it out already. You guys are the best.
On top of it today.
Best stream ever.
Absolutely. All right. We will see you guys next week. Have a great week.